Hey everyone, today we're diving into the ultimate tactical guide for anyone planning a move to the north. If you are looking at buying a home in Prince George sight unseen, you know the stakes are high. You're often making a six-figure decision from hundreds of kilometers away based on nothing but a few videos and listing photos. Here's something no listing photo will ever show you though. You can't smell a pulp mill on Zoom. The house looks perfect, the yard is big and the price is right, but you are sitting in Vancouver or Toronto trying to make a six-figure financial decision based on a few iPhone videos your agent sent over. That is the reality for thousands of people relocating to Prince George every year, and if you do not know exactly what to look for, you are flying blind. Standard virtual tours create a sterilized deficit that masks the ground level reality. Today, I'm giving you the tactical playbook to close a deal in Prince George without stepping foot in the city until moving day. Let's get into it. Prince George is not a market that behaves like the Lower Mainland, Calgary, or even Kamloops. In 2025, we recorded 1,335 sales, with the average home price climbing to $491,000, up from $467,000 in 2024. But the question you should be asking is why these prices are holding firm. The reason is the institutional employment floor of Prince George has evolved from a boom and bust resource town. It is now the service capital for northern BC. Northern Health is the city's largest employer, managing the University Hospital of Northern BC, which creates massive stable demand for housing. UMBC constantly drives demand on the western side of the city, and a high concentration of federal and provincial government offices provides a layer of economic stability you won't find in smaller communities. However, you must also account for the northern operating premium when you're looking at coming here. So Prince George can be very attractive, but we have to look at your day-to-day costs. Northern operating premiums, while the purchase price is lower than Vancouver, the carrying costs can be higher. Heating here is a major expense. Natural gas is your primary fuel for extended periods of minus 20 to minus 30 degrees. This is also a car-dependent city, where two vehicles are practical necessities for most families. Factor those northern facts of life into your monthly number before you fall in love with a property at your ceiling. But let's get into the nitty-gritty and the mortgage qualifications. The single most important decision you make as a remote buyer is who you hire to be your boots on the ground. But before that, you have to avoid the qualification trap. Your mortgage approval does not move with you. It is strictly tied to your current verifiable employment on paper. A lot of relocators assume a new job offer letter is enough, but lenders usually require verified stability and income history. Talk to a local PG broker before you even start browsing listings. National call centers don't understand the specific timeline or runway needed to close a northern BC deal cleanly. A standard buyer's agent and a remote buyer's agent are not the same job. A standard agent acts as a tour guide. They point the camera at paint colors and layouts. You require a remote proxy. They must fill your sensory gap by walking the perimeter to assess exterior grading, standing in the basement to detect musty or chemical smells, and autonomously capturing close-ups of mechanical room service tags without being asked. If your agent is just forwarding you listing sheets and doing standard Zoom walkthroughs, you're dangerously underserved when you're buying something remote. Professional listing photography is designed to create a sterilized environment, an optimistic view of a home that strategically frames out the adjacent property needing work, the 6 a.m. highway traffic, or the industrial facility 2 blocks away. But the danger for the remote buyer is that these optically cropped photos hide more than just eyesores sometimes. They hide the context that determines your quality of life. To break through this visual illusion, look at the data photos can't capture. In Prince George, that starts with the School District 57 catchment map. Catchment boundaries are one of the primary invisible drivers of neighborhood premiums in the city. Once you've mapped the geography, demand honest ground level walkthrough videos from your agent. While Google Street View is a static snapshot, local videos provide a conversation about the actual streetscape and noise levels. Prince George has specific geological risks that a listing photo will never show. Radon gas is highly prevalent here. It is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers, and it is completely invisible. Always request historic tests via the property disclosure statement. Buried oil tanks are common in older homes. An undisclosed tank is an environmental liability that transfers to you on possession. You also need to vet for legacy infrastructure like aluminum wiring from the 60s or poly-B plumbing from the 70s to 90s, which directly impact your insurance and financing. Finally, differential settlement is a real risk due to clay-heavy soils, especially on hillside properties, so watch out for the soil that the foundation is sitting in. In a remote transaction, you cannot simply read the inspection report and hope for the best. The gold standard for remote buyers is the live virtual debrief. Once the inspector finishes, jump on a video call while they're still at the property. This allows them to walk through the findings in real time. Direct them to debrief on furnace tags for age and capacity, critical for -30 winters. Have them look at flooring transitions. Uneven floors are a prime indicator of foundation settlement. Ensure the exterior grading slopes away from the foundation to prevent freezing water from fracturing concrete. Also, confirm the electrical panel has adequate amperage for modern heating loads. These are things that you need to keep in mind when you're looking at properties from a distance. On every single showing, you must ask your agent 2 questions. First, what do you hear right now standing in the backyard? Your agent must stand in silence for at least 60 seconds to listen for the traffic hum, industrial noise, or busy arterial roads. That minute can save you years of frustration. Second, does anything on this property give you pause that you haven't mentioned? Yes. This can give you an honest read on the property, and remember, the agent has to be your sensory when they're visiting the property for you. Every remote offer needs 4 non-negotiable subjects: financing, inspection, property insurance, and title review. You also have the mandatory 3-day BC homebuyer protection period to exit for any reason within the first 72 hours of an accepted offer. Use this window aggressively to confirm your insurability in a northern climate. An uninsurable wood stove or legacy wiring can kill financing instantly. Furthermore, be prepared for the remote identity trap. A simple video call with your passport is legally insufficient in British Columbia. BC law requires strict identity verification for non-present signers, which often involves a wet ink signing process in the presence of a certified notary at your current location. You must vet your conveyancing lawyer's remote protocol before you are even under contract to avoid stressed closing dates. Remote buyers naturally tend to overbid to compensate for the uncertainty of not being in the room. This creates a manufactured urgency. Before you are emotionally attached, establish the golden rule. Anchor in the calm. Set your absolute walkaway number based on conditions and comps, not your maximum approval. Remember, a clean, well-structured offer with airtight financing often beats a messy, high-dollar offer with complicated conditions. Target your move for March through May to avoid deep winter road conditions and peak summer surge pricing. Always secure a temporary furnished executive rental backup, as remote closing often experience legal or document courier delays. Regarding utilities, natural gas through FortisBC must be transferred before you arrive. You need heat on day 1 to prevent pipe bursts in our climate. The City of Prince George requires a minimum of 48-hour window to activate water and sewer, so don't leave this until move-in day. And finally, if you're buying rural acreage in Beaverly, Buckhorn, or the Heart, be aware that you are operating on independent systems. A septic inspection is mandatory before removing subjects, as a failed field can cost you tens of thousands of dollars to remediate. Likewise, confirm well water potability and flow rates to ensure your family has reliable access to clean water. Success comes down to 5 sequenced steps. Map your financing. Consult a local brokerage to know your verifiable qualification. Orient via video. Master the geography using School District 57 maps and ground level video. Our YouTube channel, Living in Prince George, can be great for this because we do drone shots across the city and neighborhood reviews. Number 3, retain a proxy. Apply the litmus test and demand a sensory read. Remember that your agent is your boots on the ground, and they are there to pick up on things that you wouldn't be able to pick up on by buying remotely. Number 4, pre-build the team. Secure an inspector for live debriefs and a BC-versed lawyer. And number 5, anchor the offer. Set your walkaway number and move with disciplined speed. Remember that prepared buyers move fast, unprepared buyers pay more. Comment guide below for the relocation package, and I'll see you in the next video.